Praise and production.
Relationships. Got a lot of messages. Not a lot. I got several messages. And they're always asking the same questions. So I definitely thank you all for watching the videos. I was expecting, mom and them, watch it. But I was actually surprised, several people watched and, not tons, but I'm grateful. And several people reached out. But specifically, I want to address those of you that were asking me questions about the choose wisely, the last one I did. Today is I'm gonna try not to do this a lot, but today is January 1st, first day of the new year, and a lot of people are in the reevaluation mode, thinking about life, reevaluating, right? And so several people watched it because I posted that one last week, right? And so several people was asking me questions about specific things that they took from the video, which is great, and giving me feedback and all was great. But I got several questions that felt very similar. So this camera, look at you in your face. So I wanted to offer something to try and explain what several people asked me about. I think will help, and offer something that I've given to a lot of other people that seem to have helped them very much. So this is what you need to do. Draw a dot in the middle of a piece of paper. Get a white piece of paper and draw a dot dead in the center. All right. After you do that, go out from left and right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right. One should be right on the edge of the paper. And 5 should be close to the dot, but have a little space. Right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both directions. Or just one. It doesn't matter. Whatever. All right. Dot in the center. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'll explain the context of what I meant by choosing, right? I was specifically talking about the fact that you don't have to feel forced to deal with someone in your life lest you want to, right? It's your life. Have tos are different. Like I mentioned the example of parents. And another one that came to mind is roommates. That's a tough one because there's a lot of situations where you don't choose a roommate, but you got to deal with them, right? It's tough, right? That's a little different. But when I was talking about choosing, if you are dating somebody that makes you feel bad, don't date them. It sounds simple, but for those of you that are like, duh, think about how many times you have conversations with people and they talk about someone that they are in relationship with, and they're just like, oh, they're the worst, and they make me feel like that, and they talk to me like this, and they never that. Like, yo, why are you with them? So that's what I meant by that other video. So dot in the center, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I keep looking at me. See, I'm here, you're there. That's what you are. I'm here. So you got your dot. You got your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Outside of the one, so we don't have any circle yet. We're going to do some circles, but we don't have none yet. Outside of one is everybody. Everybody on the planet. The other human beings. Okay? Those people exist. Right? You don't have a choice in that. They exist. They are alive, and everyone outside of that one deserves dignity, honor, respect, right? Whether you like them or not, whether they're following a path you agree with or not. They are a human being, they exist, they deserve the same dignity that you do, right? Obviously, we're not talking about law, things like that. You break the law, you have to be punished, whatever. But they deserve dignity and respect just for being human, okay? So if you have issue with that, then you have issue with God. Whether you believe in this God or that God or whatever, or whether you believe in the universe, if you believe the universe is conscious, whatever, right? That is existence. That is creation. That is reality. Human beings exist. And if you got issue with someone who exists just because they exist, because they don't do what you want them to do, you got issues with God. You got to get yourself in a place where people can exist around you. That is your problem to fix. That's not their problem. Right? So that's one. That's one. That's right. That's everybody. Everyone. Right? So draw a circle that goes in between the two and the one, both sides, right? All right. So you got one circle on the page. All right. Everyone outside of that circle is in one. Those are the people that exist. Everyone inside that circle, we'll say that's community, right? We'll leave that as community. I hope I get my numbers right. There's people that are around you, right? Somebody in Tibet or New Zealand or Antarctica, unless you live in these places. I seriously doubt if my videos are going to reach Tibet. But those people, they're not in your area. They're not in your community, right? Online, everybody's in the community, right? So that's one. Got to remember when you're online and you're on, social media and stuff, you're dealing with one. Everybody got to get that respect. Everybody got to get that dignity, regardless of if they're talking about something you want them to be talking about or living the life you want them to live. That's their life. That's one. But if we get into two, right, get into this circle, these are people in your community. So online is different. But the people around you, that's your community, right? Wherever you live, that's your community. So if you live in a place that has a bunch of people you don't care for, you can move. That's your choice. But if you don't want to move, that is a choice. Or if you can't move, you do what you can to move when you can. That is a little different. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about choice, right? So community, kind of choice, sometimes it's not, right? But people do exist. Draw another circle in between 2 and 3. That comes into contact, right? So we're still not really at the place where you can choose who is what. You can live in an area and you can move if you have the ability, or you can go to different places. If you go one place, some people doing some stuff you don't care for, you go somewhere else, right? These are your decisions. But we're getting to the point where you are choosing who's in these circles, right? We're getting there, right? So we got the circle that's going in between 2 and 3. This is contact. This is people you come into contact with, right? If you move into an apartment, you don't choose who lives next door to you. You can choose if you hang out with them or not. I'm so sorry. I keep trying to look in the camera. I don't remember that. I'm all over here. So when I do this, that's you. Contact. People between, right, in this area, neighbors, co-workers, people you go to church with, whatever, right? People who are in a place you want to go to doing similar things you're doing, but you don't have the right to choose who that is, right? It's important. Draw another circle. We got a circle in between, what would this be? 3 and 4? Yeah, 3 and 4. That's friends and family, or at least acquaintances, friends and family. All right? Acquaintances you choose. Now we're into choice. Before this, you might have a little bit of choice of what you do, how you interact, maybe. Sometimes not. But now we're getting into choice. You don't have to do acquaintance with someone you don't want to do. That's my point. That's where we're going, right? That next circle is close people, family and friends. Draw a circle between 4 and 5, right? These are the people that are in your life for real, right? That's why I was saying roommates is another tricky area, because a roommate is someone who's in your area, who's in your private, intimate space. You might not have chose them, and you might not even like them, right? I have nieces and nephews who are in college, and we were talking about the differences between some of their roommates, some that are easy to get along with, and some that were a little more difficult, right? That's kind of tricky. You're in college, you don't really get to choose that, but you can. I think most colleges, I think they let you change. If somebody's really rough, or if they're doing things where you're not safe or whatever, you work that out. But a lot of people have agreed and signed leases with strangers. And then you end up legally obligated to somebody that you don't know. So if you can avoid that, make that choice. If you can't, you can't. I would say work really hard to not be in contract with someone you don't know. Because if you find out they got many issues and tissues and your name on a dotted line, you got to go through the extra work, right? To get away from them, to get yourself or to get them away from you. Usually, it probably would be best for you to leave because trying to tell somebody else what to do, then we get into matters of control. And maybe I'll do another video about that concept. But a very big concept to accept in life is that you cannot control other people. As much as you might want to, as much effort as you might put into it, as many plans as you might make, you just can't. And trusting someone doesn't mean that they are then bound to do what you want them to do. That's not what trust is. I have learned that the hard way, right? So you cannot choose what other people do. You can't control what somebody else does. You can just control yourself. And there are also times in life when uh, some people don't control themselves. Sometimes we don't control ourselves, right? Whatever. Um, Again, that's a God thing. If you don't have a life path that allows you to control your language and behavior, you need to be doing some you work. That ain't somebody else's fault. That's your fault. All right? So we're in circle number 5, yo. It's a close circle. These are people that come into contact with you and that you allow to contact you, that you are allowed into your personal space, usually by choice. The exceptions are when you don't have choice, but try to keep those to a minimum as best you can for the sake of your peace, right? These are family, friends, people that can come to the crib maybe without calling first. These are people in your life, somebody that you'll pick up the phone for. I notice a lot of people have issue with phone now. In the last 10 years or so, I'm a phone person. I be calling, right? People pick up the phone. You call somebody, they text you, what's up? And if they're busy, I get it. But a lot of some of my homies, they'll be busy. They just don't want to pick up the phone. I get it. You choose what you do. I gotta respect that. I'm like, come on, you ain't doing nothing. Family and friends, people you come into contact with. To number 5. Right? Make that choice. Now, the last level going in is the dot. The dot is you, right? The dot represents who you let into your heart, who you let into your life at the center of what you consider to be what's important to your life and for your life. Who you let into your heart. It's a choice. Nobody gets to just come in and wreck shop without your permission, right? And if you open your heart to somebody, they come in and they show you that they're gonna do damage, or you learn that they're gonna do damage because they do the damage. You got to be real. Is this person someone you think that's going to continue to do that? Did they mess up? Have they apologized? You feel some contrition going on? Make a decision. I would definitely say uh, a very disturbing trend I see, um, and not just on social media, but I hear people and see people following this path in person as well, is a lot of us have been very quick to drop the hammer and cut people off because we get used to doing that online. Somebody says something you don't like, you delete it. Somebody is acting or saying things that you don't agree with, you block them, right? And that's cool because if you don't want to interact with someone online, it's your account, you do what you want. Like that makes sense. But the disturbing part to me is, remember, we got these circles, and there's a lot of space. There's a lot of space, I think, in consciousness where people are forgetting that you don't decide who is in life. You are definitely in your rights. Oh my God, with the horn over here. You are definitely in your rights to decide who's in your life and who you interact with and whatnot. Are we finished? You get to decide who's in your life, but you cannot decide who exists unless you're trying to get your murder on. And please don't be murdering. What I'm trying to get at is this this belief and headspace that, think about people who are very quick to talk about, I'm not going to tolerate this. I'm not going to put up with that. I don't allow this. I don't allow that. There's a certain level of that is healthy. But there's some people that go a bit too far, and you can kind of tell, like, if you don't find a little room for forgiveness, if you don't find a little room for understanding, if you don't ever consider that the issue might be you and not everybody else, you're going to end up cutting off everybody, and then there's going to be nobody else to blame. And then you're going to have to deal with yourself by yourself. That sucks. You don't want that. When you reach a point, and I've been here, when you reach a point of a conflict of self, meaning you're seeing the evidence that who you are and the path that you're on is different from what you want it to be, you need other people to help. You need to be loved so you don't fall beneath a line of emotional stability and whatnot, right? You need other people to help you with that. You need to be able to seek wise counsel. You need somebody to be able to hug you and be like, yo, you are not the worst, even though you're dealing with something that needs to be um, nurtured for growth, right? You need people to kind of help you not go too far to the bad place, because there's a tipping point in the bad place where you might get and end up feeling like you are worthless and valueless, and you fall into depression. It can be very bad. And I'll say this: maybe you don't, but when I was there, and that has been where I've been for a while. I didn't realize it, but for many years of my life, I was struggling with going between dysthymia and depression. I'm just now learning about this. My therapist is educating me, right? Going between dysthymia and depression. And then recently I've been struggling with major to severe depression. And there's a tipping point where all of the things you're trying to learn about yourself to help explain what you're going through or what has happened or whatever, there's a tipping point to where you get into thoughts where you're like, it's all my fault because I'm the worst and I'm worthless and I'm ruining everybody else's life, and everybody's life would be better if I wasn't around. And it can get bad. So careful with the chopping block. I'm referring to choosing who to spend your life with and who to have in your life. Right? I think the difference, because I don't want to be confusing. The difference is someone who is selfish, for example, they are no less worthy of dignity, honor, and respect because they have behavior that you see as selfish. You might be right that they're selfish, or you might be reading their behavior as selfish because you don't understand what's behind it, right? Could be. Leaving that door open for the possibility that you might not understand something will help you learn in situations where there is something that needs to be grown or strengthened or cleared up in your own consciousness, in your own mind. You'll miss that area for growth if you don't consider that someone else's impact on you might not be because of them. It's still a choice you got to make, right? However, sometimes selfishness might come at you from someone because they actually are selfish, or maybe this person is a lot more healthy in terms of not being ashamed of boundaries. They might have lived a life of scarcity, or they might have, or they might be in a time in their life where their struggle is to bring some pieces together to build the life that they're striving for. And they might be very focused on what they're doing, which can appear like selfishness, right? Might not be selfishness, but it might feel like that if you don't know all their business, right? So be careful. Everybody gets the one level. Everybody gets the outside of that page where there's no circles. Remember when we started, everybody's in one. Everybody gets dignity. My four, I try to stay on love, honor, dignity, and respect as best I can, right? My nails are dirty. Love, honor, dignity, and respect, right? If you don't know what those things are, look them up and read, right? It will make you a better person to treat everyone with dignity. Every human being deserves dignity. I'll give a great example. This is a tough one. So I'm gonna be very transparent right now. Um, I have struggled a lot of my life with the desire that I have to help indigents, people who are either homeless or transients and whatnot, right? And that coupled with the fact that I have an incredibly strong sense of smell. So when I be trying to help, sometimes I can't breathe. It's hard. So you out doing your thing. Or I'll be out doing my thing, going somewhere. There'll be indigent somewhere, right? They'll help me, help me, help me. My heart says, help the person, because I was homeless before, and I remember what it was like to sleep in my truck. I was doing okay when I was homeless, and it was for short periods of time or whatever. But you learn some aspects of life when you got to sleep in your vehicle, right? Most people don't choose that. Some people might, but if you gotta sleep there, you gotta sleep there. But it kind of opens your eyes to to the blessing of a bed and a door you can lock, and blessing. So anyways, um you go about your day, you're doing your thing, you pass someone who, help me please, can you give me some money, can you give me some food or whatever. One of my dad's I guess practices or beliefs in life is give what is needed. If you got money and you wanna, great. But we didn't have a lot of money, so he would always encourage me, and I would see him give like either like gift cards or food vouchers to people. Like we would go to a place and he would get some gift cards or food vouchers to the food place, and he would give them that because you can use that to get food. And a lot of you got parents that said the same thing. A lot of people who are indigent are addicted to different things, and you don't want to enable, right? Or people are also just irresponsible. Some people are irresponsible. It's not even a matter of the sickness of addiction. It just might be that somebody is just very undisciplined and careless with their decisions, and you don't want to enable someone by giving them $20 and they run into the liquor store and drown their sorrows in the bottle, right? There is a fine line between the mental struggle of addiction versus someone who's careless and not acting right, and no disrespect to people who are struggling with addiction. I mean, no disrespect. So I would struggle with that, and what I end up doing, as much as I can, is I'll do that. I'll go buy some food and bring it, right? But you haven't hold my breath. I've been feeling bad, but you do what you can. Point is dignity. I don't know why I went on that tangent. The point is dignity. Everybody deserves dignity, and if someone is asking for food, usually, not all the time, but usually someone wouldn't choose to be begging for food, right? So making comments, the get a job kind of people, that's not cool. Usually, and if you've seen differently, feel free to hit me up. Usually, somebody wouldn't choose to spend their day standing on a street corner holding a sign say, help me get some food. Would you choose to do that? Or would you choose to be able to do something, get a decent wage, and just go buy whatever food you want? So, assuming that someone's hardship is um, just the way they prefer to live is very ignorant. It is true sometimes, but it's not true usually, at least not in my experience. In my experience, someone who is uh, like filthy and in rags and got all their stuff in a pile or in a shopping cart or something like that, they smell awful and they're begging for help for food, they usually are not there by choice. They're not. I haven't seen that much. I've seen a few exceptions of people who just don't want to work, don't want to do what they need to do, but not a lot. So basic dignity for that outside circle, that outside one, basic dignity will save you from kicking somebody when they down. It also explains the isms. I don't know if I'm not gonna get into that now. I don't know if I'm gonna do a video on that. It's a heavy topic, but all the isms, it's because people have not been taught and they don't understand how to handle level one. That's the basic level, right? Not treating somebody with dignity, not honoring a person for just being a human being, and expecting them to accept less treatment and unfair treatment over something they can't control or something that you just don't agree with. It also explains the isms that are newer to public discussion, right? Genderism and the sexisms in terms of relationship and stuff like that. Not sexism meaning like from female to male, but sexism in terms of treating someone differently because who they want to have sex with. Like that's their business, right? And unless they're trying to have sex with you and you don't want them to, obviously that's a matter to be dealt with. But if I got people that I have in my community or that are near me and they want to live together and work together and share their life together, that's their business. It's not mine, right? And for me to treat them with any less dignity, any less honor, any less respect, to do anything out of love, that's breaking the one. That's breaking that level. Everybody is on the page. You put your page, you put your dot in the center, you put your numbers. Everybody gets dignity and respect if they're on the page. If they're a human being, they get dignity. If they're a human being, they get honor. If they're a human being, they get respect. And if you don't know what loving is, if you don't know how to treat people with love, if you don't know that concept, don't wait. Your life will explode for the better. It will get so much better if you simply choose to learn what it means to be a loving person, what the concept of loving a fellow human being is. You choose to love everybody as best you can, as much as you can. Life will be a lot better, and their life will be better because then you won't be acting all crazy and telling somebody that they don't deserve a life of dignity because their skin is browner. What is this? All right. We super got deep. Right now. I'm gonna be out. Love you. Hope you're feeling well. Hope you're doing well. Hope your new year. Hope your year ended well. Hope your new year is starting off incredibly well. Pick something to better yourself. Get after it. That's what I'm doing. Love your neighbors. Love your friends. Love your family. Call them. Check up on them. Hit me up. If you got any questions or comments, share the video if it felt good. If you think it'll help somebody, if it helped you. Like it, subscribe, share, all those things. Peace, 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 peace.
If it's my time, then it's my time. Whoa. 'cause I got mine. 'Cause I got mine. Worry about yours, 'cause I got mine. 'Cause I got mine.
Praise and production.